Hello and welcome back to Overbooked. I'm Amanda and today we're going to be reviewing the book The Tattooist of Auschwitz by Heather Morris. So I read this book for the book club I'm in with my family. It was picked for us to read this month, and I also thought that I would read it for one of the 2020 Reading Women Challenge prompts, which is why I'm reviewing the book. And I can't remember what prompt it is, but I think it's prompt number 16 or something. And it's read a book that's frequently recommended to you. And The Tattooist of Auschwitz has been recommended to me numerous times. So The Tattooist of Auschwitz is historical fiction, and it details the life of Lale and how he becomes essentially the tattooist of Auschwitz. Lale is sent to Birkenau, which is adjoined with Auschwitz. I think they were two camps that were side by side, but I think Birkenau was more of like a working camp versus Auschwitz, which was just like, you know, terrible. Both were terrible. When it's discovered that he can speak multiple languages, it works to his advantage, and he falls into the position of the tattooist of Auschwitz. So what that job entails is every time there's a shipment of prisoners, he is the person to go and tattoo the number on their arm. This position that he secures, I think, from my perspective, offers him a lot of like special privileges and like opportunities in the camp. I think that it seems that he has a little bit more free reign to walk around. He has like a banter and like a relationship with one of the SS, and I shouldn't like say relationship, it's not like they're besties, but this SS officer feels a connection to him and does like little favors for him. So I think that this position obviously puts him in a better position, and he is able to find like ways to get more food and give out like other rations. So I think that he is a very well-oiled and like connected machine with this position, and I don't think he would have been able to secure any of that stuff without it. But the book also has a romantic side. So becoming the tattooist of Auschwitz, Lale is able to meet Gita, and he sees her when she first comes to the camp, and he tattoos her number, and he is in love with her upon first sight. He makes it his mission to find her and get to know her, yada yada yada. Lale and Gita start this relationship, and they're in love, and soon Lale's only objective is that he just wants to survive and get out of this camp. So he's going to do anything he can to get out of here and make it. And so throughout the book, we see a lot of the hardships he has to go to, the moments where survival just doesn't seem possible, or survival almost seems like the worst of the two options. And it's really heart-wrenching and heartbreaking to read and listen to, since I listened to it on audiobook. I don't know, I just think it takes a lot of bravery and just so much power to be able to get through that time. I really enjoyed the book. I thought it was really good, and I wouldn't say enjoyable to read, but I thought it was a really good story, because, I mean, obviously, I don't really want to say enjoyable because it's like a horrible story, but it is about two people persevering because of each other and relying on each other to get through a really tough time, and I thought that was really beautiful. I did rate it only 4 out of 5 stars because there were some things I just didn't buy or enjoy out of the book. So the book is really short, which I was not expecting, I guess. So like I said, I listened to this as an audiobook, and I thought it was gonna be really long. I figured that if I would have checked this out from the book, it would have been a pretty thick book. And when I started listening to it and I'd get through the chapters, I'd be like, wow, we're really speeding through time here. And because they'll like check in with you throughout the book about like what year it is, and which is almost like, which leveled my anxiety, because when they got closer to 1945, I was like, thank fucking God, I can't do this anymore. To say, anyways, so I would be like, oh wow, we're really breezing through time here. And when I would check my audiobook, I'm like, wow, I only have like 5 hours left? Like, this seems impossible. And when you look, it's like only like 250 pages for the book. And after I finished it, that made sense, because For me, the thing that just stopped me from really, really loving this book and really just like praising it was I felt like there was just a lot of details that could have been added, dialogue that could have been added. There's just so many like missing parts of the book that I think I just didn't really enjoy. It would have been nice to learn more about some of the things. I just felt like there was very open-ended things that just never got finished, and I would have really liked to finish them. But I guess saying that right now, it makes me feel like maybe I shouldn't ask for too much, because it was very much like during that time. I mean, there was probably a ton of open-ended questions for the people who left Auschwitz, and they never, I mean, I don't know how easy it would have been to connect with all those people again, or find them, or find out what happened to them, or even to find out what happened to your family. I'm sure would have been hard to figure out getting back. But I don't know, it's like a historical fiction book, so I wish Heather Morris could have taken some liberties, finished some of the stories for us. Also, reading some of the reviews, one of them was saying, well, this book isn't even historically accurate. So I was reading an article in the New York Times, and it's like some of the historical like things were like just would not have been accurate for the time period. Like I said, like it is a historical fiction, but the article was arguing like, even if it is historical fiction, how much can you use that to get away with adding in more flourishes or other details? One of the things that I thought stuck out was, and I guess it's not really a spoiler, but at one of the times in the book, Gita gets really sick and she needs penicillin, and Lale is able to secure it for her. And one of the criticisms was, well, penicillin wouldn't have been readily available in the US, let alone Nazi-occupied Europe during this time. So it seems like a really hard stretch of doing that. You know, I don't know. I feel that maybe you probably should stick closer to the facts, and that's kind of like what that time period was. I would really just like to see extended stories on the characters, but using accurate historical facts. That's how I feel about it. Anyways, so yeah, I just wish there was more detail and more emphasis on what was going on. I just felt like some of the open-ended things that I just never understood, and maybe since I was listening to audiobook, I missed it. Maybe I just completely missed it. But Gita is so insistent on not telling Lale where her family's from or what her last name is throughout the entire book. And she only tells him like when they're leaving the camp, and she has to yell it, her last name, across, I don't know, a crowd of people. And he only gets to work with like her full name. He doesn't know where she's, like what country she's from, whatever. I just never understood that. I never understood why she refused to tell him. I thought it was gonna be like, oh, she's not even Jewish, and that was gonna be a problem, or like she was from some like seedy part of the world. I don't know, but it never got resolved for me, and maybe it did, like I said, and I just didn't hear it when I was spacing out while I was listening to that part of the book. I don't know, so a lot of things I just felt like could have been wrapped up better, more details, more explanation. She had plenty to work with. I mean, you only had 250 pages. You could have written 100 more and I would have kept reading. But anyways, I did enjoy the book. It's based off of a real story. Apparently Lale and Gita are real people. This is a real love story. So that was really fascinating to hear and read about, and kind of made me try to change my tone on some of the things that I was upset about, because I was like, well, whatever. But it is really powerful, and in the end of the book, it tells you what happens to them after Auschwitz and what their life is together afterwards, and I just thought that was really beautiful, and I really loved hearing that. So if you have the audiobook, keep listening to the afterword and stuff, because I was just going to stop, and I'm glad I didn't. And I heard that there's pictures of them in the actual book, so that would have been really cool. I think I googled some stuff, and they're cute and happy and nice. Overall, I thought it was good. I don't know if I would super recommend it to anybody. Like, there are other like World War II books I would probably recommend prior to the Tattooist of Auschwitz, but maybe if I was recommending it to somebody, maybe I would recommend it to somebody who doesn't really read a lot, needs a book that would help them, you know, get into reading. I think this is a good book. It's like short, to the point, exciting, and there's tragedy, and it keeps you hooked, so maybe that's a good book to recommend. And I think it's going to be a good book for our book club. I think it's going to be a really good discussion on like the time period and all the injustices that happened, how we could connect it to today, blah, 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 blah. Those were my thoughts on the Tattooist of Auschwitz. Let me know if you've read it and if you've enjoyed it, and if you were like, Amanda, this is bullshit, 5 out of 5 stars, amazing book. It's okay, let me know. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time.